Australian politics has entered a new era tonight, with the National Party ending its coalition with the Liberals. Nat's leader, David Littleproud, says the party made the call as a matter of principle. The sticking points for them are nuclear, regional infrastructure and the powers to break up the big supermarkets. Both Littleproud and Liberals leader Suzanne Lee have described the outcome as disappointing.
Yes, politics is the brutal game of arithmetic, but the way that you get numbers is to stand for something. And that's what the National Party's doing today.
The Nationals' door remains open and our door remains open. And we look forward with optimism to rejoining at some point in the future.
And knocking on our door is news.com.au's political editor, Sam Maiden. Sam, nice to see you. How are these two meant to win an election without each other?
Well, I think that it's not time to set fire to your hair. You know, I think that some people are becoming a little exuberant, a little anxious, a little freaked out by this. I don't think it is quite necessarily as catastrophic as it sounds, because the reality is, in the unlikely possibility that the coalition is ready to govern at the next election, given, you know, how many seats they're on, that's going to be a pretty tough ask. But let's just say it could happen, because we've just had a pretty wild election 2 seconds ago. The reality is that they would form a coalition to govern, right? So, look, you know, it's just like Labor in the past has done deals with the Greens, you know, or the crossbench. It's that sort of thing. So I don't think that we should think that they are divorced forever. It is not a Taylor Swift, we're never ever getting back together situation. It is more of a, you know, your parents have run off with the nice man who collects the bins in the 1970s, but maybe we'll come back to the family home later.
Really? So it's just a little break.
Wow.
It's just a little break. Is this a smart thing to do you think?
Look, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because I think that the Liberal Party has a big, hard job, a knockdown, rebuild job ahead of them to really get straight what their philosophy is and how they're going to interact in the modern era, and how they're going to tackle a bunch of issues. There has been a claim, well, not really a claim, I think it's a fact, that sometimes the tail has been wagging the dog. And so every time the Liberal Party tries to move on energy policy or climate change targets, the Nationals kind of, you know, lose it and start, you know, Barnaby Joyce starts running around talking about the price of pork cutlets, which are quite expensive. And, you know, nothing ever gets done. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. There's also strategic reasons why it's a problem in terms of, you know, less staff, less money, less resources, running election campaigns, sure. But in terms of actually getting their philosophical fight happening and being able to do that freely within the Liberal Party without Barnaby Joyce, as adorable as he is, poking around the corner with his Akubra and causing trouble, I think it might not be a bad thing.
I don't know. All sorts of things happen on a break. Just ask Ross and Rachel.
No,
you know?
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Exactly.
Hey, a nation needs...
It can be quite exciting.
Well, I know you're excited about it.
Yeah.
But if a nation needs a strong opposition, how much tougher will this make running a strong opposition for the Liberals?
Well, it might make it tougher, but it might also make it more robust, because you're going to have lots of different voices. Like, I think that question time could be a little interesting. It could be a little bit more like the Senate, because what is going to happen is, rather than dole out all these front bench positions to people in the Nationals like they have, it's party time in the Liberal. Everyone is going to get a ride on the pony. Everyone is going to get, I mean, like, they'll probably be stopping people in the street and giving them front bench portfolios, because there'll be nobody left. But the Nationals will still be able to ask questions in Parliament in the same way that the Greens, the crossbench, you know, do now. So it's going to be a little bit different. For people that don't like things being a bit different, it may be a little confronting. They may need a little quiet time, a little reassurance. But I think that it's all going to be okay in the end.
One of the things Susan Lee cited is that there was a disagreement apparently about cabinet solidarity. So basically, the Nats, I gather, refused to say they were going to toe coalition policy if they were in the cabinet. That says to me the divisions here are quite deep. So even though I understand there is the potential for them to get back together, can you foresee how they would do that? Like, how could they actually get to the point of bridging that divide?
Well, I think that is a legitimate point. I mean, the issues that, you know, they've come a cropper over were basically 4 policy issues, the chief amongst them being that the Nationals wanted to lock the Liberals into agreeing to nuclear power going forward, or at least dumping the legal prohibition and allowing private sector people to enter the region. They also wanted to, divest supermarkets and sort of blow up supermarkets, not strictly speaking blow them up, but you know what I mean. And so, I think that I can see where the Liberal Party is coming from in saying, no, hang on a minute, we're going to have a big root and branch reform thing here. You're not going to lock us into all these things now. I think that the Nationals' requests were kind of ridiculous. And also, they were saying to them, we reserve the right to be able to cross the floor whenever we want. And Susan was like, well, I'm not down with that. And so the rest is history. But I mean, I think the Liberals definitely feel that the Nationals wanted to break up and they went into these negotiations looking for reasons to do so. They've got their reasons. Now they've broken up. We'll see how it goes.
Wow. Yeah, Little Proud, give the hoodie and the CDs back. Sam Maiden, thanks for your time.
I feel like there's a lot of your autobiography coming out in the course of that interview.
No.
Everything okay?
I've never done a drive-by.
Okay,